Welcome to a Soccer Down Here 1v1, where we catch up with MOBA Soccer, girls director, and now USLW head coach Gene Smith, MOBA Soccer Academy down in Peachtree City. Coach, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
All right, so let's just dive right into it. I know that a lot of folks are looking forward to USLW and what it's bringing to the table. I guess let's get into the decision-making and the process to make sure that MOBA would be a part of this. What all went into this decision, and now that you're a part of USLW?
I think generally our ownership always had kind of its eye on this. I know it has been coming down the line for a little while now. Because we already have a USL-2 program on the men's side, I think the decision in their minds from an ownership perspective was always to get everything under the same umbrella. And I think that was a good decision. I think, especially for the women's game, I know the conversations that I had with our ownership was really about the platform itself. I think there's a lot of leagues out there for women's soccer, being a college coach for as many years as I was, across all divisions. We're always looking for players for place to play. And I always think there's a lot of leagues out there for women, but there's not a lot of leagues with the platform that USLW has in terms of education, in terms of, opportunity and what they're trying to create. So I think that kind of led to our decision-making process. I think we really want to grow the women's game at MOBA and really give an opportunity to our players to have a pathway to professional athletics, whether that be in soccer or whether that be in sport in general, and whether they're going to be a coach, whether they're going to be an owner, whether they're going to be in the front office, whether they're going to continue their playing careers. I think having that pathway was really important to us.
For those not familiar with Peachtree City MOBA and MOBA Soccer, I guess this is where we ask for the bio blast when it comes to MOBA and its part and its piece in the footprint of soccer here in the Southeast. So for folks not familiar with MOBA and MOBA Soccer, what's the bio?
MOBA's a young club. We're actually pretty new to the scene. I don't think it's one of those situations in which we don't have a huge footprint in the soccer world yet. I think MOBA, the growth that we've seen in the past couple of years has been fantastic and tremendous. I think we've always kind of had the men's side. The USL-2 and the men's side was kind of the way the club began. The ownership of our club, Volker and Utah Harms, basically Volker they're both huge fans. They're huge fans of the game. And, Volker wanted to be a professional player. I think things went in a different direction for him. And, he really wanted to establish something that gave back. And he did. The club is giving back to the community here in this area. And really, we're trying to make our way here. Like I said, I think the men's side has been around for a while. And I think people recognize the men's side. The women's side for us is still growing. Even from the youth model for us, we went from 3 girls teams this past year to 7. So, the growth has been tremendous in the last year. But again, I don't think we've really established a footprint on the women's side. And, we had been with the WPSL in the past, now moving to USLW, but we really haven't established a great footprint yet.
What's it been like for you as someone who has coached in the Rust Belt and in the Northeast to come down here and see soccer grow? I'll just go ahead and use the word exponentially over the last handful of years, where you're really seeing the Southeast become more of a force across the board and have a lot to say when it comes to where the game has been growing here in the States.
Yeah, no, I think, coming down here, I spent most of my life in the Northeast, collegiately, I've moved around a little bit, but still kind of been in that northeastern area where you do get, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. And it's always been kind of, this dominant field we see in the women's game. A lot of players come out of New Jersey and up in that region. It was interesting coming down here. I've always known as a college coach about clubs like Top Hat and Concord Fire and places like that. But really seeing the growth in the professional game of Atlanta United, and having a big time MLS program which is really, really nice to see, and seeing the growth and seeing the people around here that are really trying to grow the game. And, you know, from a club level to the USL-2 level to, you know, even the championship level with Tormenta and like places like that, really trying to grow soccer and really trying to grow the education and the opportunities for not only the men's side of things, but also for the women's side.
When it comes to these next steps to see how things continue to grow for MOBA Soccer, specifically where the USLW is concerned, I see behind you, as we're talking on the video side of things, all coaches have whiteboards, and I know that those exist. But I also know that as a coach and as someone who is in on the ground level of something, I know somewhere that there is a to-do list. It could be on your phone. It could be, and I'll date myself, it could be in a BlackBerry someplace. It could be on some place where you pull a stylus out, you write something down, you file it away. It could be on a calendar that's attached to your fridge, either there in the office or at home, or it could be there in your office at MOBA, and it could be one of those long 6-foot things that's got a lot of dry erase notes that have been crossed out or erased and all that kind of stuff.
That's probably more accurate.
Where is the to-do list for you when it comes to USLW? And what do you think are the first things that you can cross off of it? Because we all sit here and we say, okay, an announcement's great and the league's going to start down the line. Down the line is going to happen a lot sooner than a lot of folks may realize. Where is that to-do list, and what are those things that are next on the list that get crossed off?
Yeah, for our region, especially for USLW, the to-do list is very prevalent. It changes daily. It is mostly on a whiteboard or Post-it notes or things like that, and it changes rapidly. Because we had so much participation within the region with SSA, with Tormenta, with Chattanooga, with us, we are kind of this groundbreaking force in the USLW of having a lot of teams already in one region. So the work has started. You know, obviously, like I said, we really appreciate the USLW and the platform that they've created and the opportunities that they're going to create for women and the education piece that they're going to create, and really able to educate girls and women in their post-career opportunities, and even in some of their career opportunities, trying to go professionally, or, you know, whatever they're trying to do, make a college team, whatever they need to do. Recruiting is always at the forefront. Getting players, that is always the immediate need, and, you know, everybody is clamoring to do that. I think, you know, extending relationships that I have with college coaches already, working on that, trying to figure out how we're going to establish ourselves as one of the better teams in the region. I think that's always the forefront. You know, as far as creating the vision for MOBA, I think that's always going to be a work in progress. I think, you know, obviously every coach will tell you that they want to sit here and they're like, yeah, we want to win the league. We want to do this. We want, you know, it's always about the successes. But I think really about growing the program itself, and giving our homegrown talent a place to play is really important to us. You know, we will have that pathway on the girls' side. So, you know, we've already kind of set in motion getting the USL Academy girls' side in place. It already exists on the boys' side. The academy side already exists. It's already pretty much, you know, they have a league, they have things to do. We don't really have it on the girls' side. Last year, MOBA participated in the first, you know, USL Academy Cup for the girls. But putting that team in place is also extremely important, and we've already put that in motion as well. So we have that in existence, and, you know, laying that groundwork is really where it comes in. You know, we want our players to progress within the club, and yes, we want to get good players in. Yes, we want to get good collegiate talent in. Yes, we want to get professional talent in. But that, you know, there it is. That's really where we're at right now. And then, you know, the future will obviously create a 3 to 5 year plan for the program once we kind of get it off the ground.
And I know that you mentioned player in the on the field sense, but I know that also MOBA is looking for a specific kind of individual to help represent them off the field, especially with this coming online and being an important part of the growth of MOBA soccer. When it comes to that individual who can represent MOBA both on and off the field, what kind of individual are you looking for?
Obviously, we're looking for the committed player. We're looking for the player that really wants to further their career and really be committed and competitive for us. We also want character. As a coach, character is the most important thing to me. Who you are as a person represents who you are on the field as well. And we want, I want to create a team of leaders, of people who understand what is necessary to create a successful program and that are committed to getting there. I think there's, in the current US club environment, this can be a whole different conversation. There's a lot of movement all the time. Players are unhappy in one space and they move to another space, and then they move to another space and another space. And I think that is all well and good. And it's great to have those opportunities. But in the end, if you really want to create something successful and move it forward in the best way possible, you need people with really good character, really good leadership, really loyal to what you're doing and really wanting to work on it. I mean, it's not, and nothing is created overnight. It goes through a process, and we need to have players that are committed to that process and committed to that work. And so, you're looking for players with character and work ethic and knowing that they're a part of something.
Gene Smith, the girls director, Peachtree City MOBA Soccer, and the USLW head coach as the USL-W franchise comes online, hanging out with us for a Soccer Down Here 1v1 for another couple of minutes. When it comes to the game itself, and this is that all-encompassing question, whether it could be as an administrator, as a coach, as a fan, as all of these things that you are when it comes to the sport. When you see how the sport has grown in general over, say, the last 5 years, and we could take it back 5 to 10, does it surprise you how the sport has grown in the overall here in the U.S. over the last handful of years?
It doesn't surprise me. I think it's nice to see it. I think it's nice to see the success of the MLS. I think it's nice to see the NWSL having some success. It's nice, to see that all these opportunities are available for players, whether it be on the men's side, whether it be on the women's side of the game. It doesn't matter. Obviously, my concern is more for the women's side of the game and the opportunities that are growing for the women's side. And the U.S. women's national team obviously has great success and things like that. But that is also the top level. So, when we talk about the growth of the game, it's U.S. women's national team is great and they've done well. And, they've made women's soccer more accessible to everyone. But women's soccer still hasn't reached the level that the men have reached in terms of accessibility. And I think this is where the growth of these leagues and the growth of USLW will really help women's soccer. It will make it more accessible to everyone. Having more teams in more areas across the country allows those young girls who are a really huge part of American soccer the opportunity to go see players play, whether they can get to an NWSL game or whether they even have a franchise in their state. That's the big thing. Maybe they have now a USLW team or a team that they can go see, and they can really get to be a part of the game and learn the game from watching, which is huge for us. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by the growth. I think the challenge in the future for American soccer is going to be, can we continue that growth? Can we continue to be, can we take it to the next step and really be a competitive group on the world stage?
So then, now that I've taken you back 5 or 10 years to discuss where we've come from, let me talk about the next, say, 5 when it comes to MOBA soccer and specifically the USLW side. How would you like to see things? And I'm not going to talk championships and all that kind of stuff, but just in the overarching idea of growth of a franchise that is now being birthed and is ready as this newborn to be a part of this new venture. How would you anticipate, or how would you like to see things grow for the USLW side there at MOBA over the next 5 years?
So I think the growth at MOBA, like I said, and I'll go back to it. I think, obviously we want to see the team be competitive. You want to see that. And that's the recruiting process. That's getting collegiate players in. That's getting players in who are, like I said, are committed to a process, that our growth process. But really for me, I think the 5-year process at MOBA will be the grassroots growth of the pathway to pro for us. Really establishing our girls side at the youth level and really transitioning those players into the higher levels of the USL Academy and then onto the USLW, and giving them those opportunities to play at younger ages and really identify players at a younger age in order to actually give them like that possibility. I don't think that exists on the women's side very much. I think, being a collegiate coach and being a club coach and a director and all these things, we see players, we do all this work to get these players into collegiate ranks. And then, most clubs don't have anywhere for them to go after they're in college. And so what do these players do in the summer and things like that? And having that continuous pathway and having our players maybe who go off onto the college ranks or things like that, having a place to come back to and really still develop and grow their game and learn in a whole long process, whether it be, whether they're in college, whether they're after college, whether it, be at a youth level, all those things are very, very important. So that in the next 5 years for MOBA, we're looking to establish that pathway and really grow that pathway.
So then for folks, now is the time for you to cut the promo here. For those that want to find out more information about MOBA Soccer, and what's going on down there in Peachtree City, how do they do it?
Just go to our website. It's fantastic. Everything is available right there at mobasoccer.com. All our contact information is there. My contact information is on there. If you need something, if you have questions about USLW, I'm happy to answer them. Shoot me an email and I will get back to you.
Gene Smith, the girls director at MOBA Soccer and the USLW head coach. Thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1. Congratulations on the announcement. We'll be keeping an eye on things, especially with USLW. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.